Hi, everyone. I wanted to talk this week about sort of an important and often scary topic, which is death. Um, the mind training slogans that we're going through, not surprisingly, at one point or another, we were going to have this talk. The slogan that we're going over this week, the 18th out of the 59 in the series, is the Mahayana instruction for ejection of consciousness at death is the five strengths. How you conduct yourself is important. At least that's the Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche translation. So I'll break this out. The Mahayana obviously is the greater vehicle path, the path of compassion and opening up our own heart. And here Atisha is saying the way that we actually prepare for death, at which point our consciousness leaves our body, according to the Buddhist tradition, is the same five strengths that we actually talked about last week. But basically the bottom line here is how we conduct ourselves in approaching and thinking about our own life and your death is very important. Here, it's a sense of making friends with our death. This is just something that's going to happen. It's happened to every other human being, so not surprising, at some point it's going to happen to you and me, as well as the people that we know. In the traditional contemplations here, in the Buddhist tradition, it often says that death comes without warning. And that means that we could go about our life and live a long and prosperous and healthy life, but then at a certain point we might fall ill and we might die, or we might walk out into the street tomorrow and not be paying attention and get hit by a bus and die tomorrow. So there's some morbidity, I understand, when we talk about death, but it's not meant to be morbid. What we're actually doing in contemplating the time of death is remembering our own preciousness of our human life. This is why we contemplate it, to remember how if we did die tomorrow, how would we actually want to feel that we've conducted ourselves today? This is why it's this idea of how you conduct yourself is important, because we do not know the time of death. So these five strengths that we went over last week, I'll go over them again. The first one is determination. In this case, what we're referring to here is that we could determine that we would face death with a sense of bravery and conviction in our own wakefulness, our own innate sanity. The second is familiarization, that over the process of many weeks, months, years meditating, we're developing mindfulness and awareness so that at the time of death we don't immediately panic. We're actually able to maintain a sense of calm and that sanity that I mentioned before. The third is virtue. So virtue in this case is a sense of living a life that is based in virtuous conduct, but it's also partly overcoming our attachment to this particular life, our belongings, all of these things. So the fear of death is what might actually propel us into our virtuous conduct, and that's okay. And then the fourth is reproach, realizing that our ego doesn't necessarily exist, and also a sense of reproach, giving up all of our negative actions, or you could say our egoic mistakes, so that when the time of death comes, that we don't necessarily feel a lot of regret and remorse. And the last would be aspiration. The aspiration here is to live fully in line with our own bodhicitta, our own open or awake heart. You know, in some sense, this is something I actually think about a fair amount. I've known many, many people who have died, and probably more than I should for my age, and they've died from very mysterious things and very common things, and at the right time, at old age, etc., at the very wrong time, at a very young age. I mean, really, it's something that has made me contemplate this and realize that ultimately we have today. And that's really the thing I want to actually emphasize in this particular slogan. We have today, and we have an opportunity today to actually live a life that we could feel very proud of. So our challenge this week, because we always have the weekly meditation challenge, is for this coming week, each day, just see if you can take a moment to reflect on death. And when you're meeting with someone or you're saying goodnight to your spouse, just take a moment to reflect one time each day. What if this is actually the last time I see this person? How would I want to treat them? So that is this week's challenge, and I wish you so much luck with it, and I can't wait to hear how it goes. Cheers.